Hey friend, and welcome back. If you're new, my name is Morgan and you are here on my homestead in Wyoming. And today is going to be a little bit of a different kind of video. Usually we have very hands-on type videos, whether we're in the garden with our farm animals, in the kitchen doing food preservation, or various projects around the homestead. But today we're going to sit down and I'm going to talk you through some of the gift ideas that I have for the upcoming holiday season. I know the holidays can be a lot. By the time you plan your get-togethers, you get everything cooked and cleaned, it can feel like a lot. So I want to help alleviate some of that stress and give you some ideas, over 70 ideas, that I have for gift ideas. Now these gifts are going to range in price, so I wanted to make sure that we could fit the needs of all of the price ranges. And I will link all of them down below in the description box. Now, it's important to note 100% of the products that I am recommending are things that I use or have used in the past, and I will link them all down below. Where I have discount codes, I will share those as well. Majority of the items, there are no discount codes. I just absolutely love the items, so I wanted to share them with you. So for the gifts, I have divided them into 5 different sections. They are going to be food preservation, garden, kitchen, homemade gifts, and hunting. So if any of those interest you, feel free to skip along to those. I will give little title pages at the beginning so you kind of know when we're jumping into the next section. But without further ado, let's jump in. We're going to start with food preservation. So when it comes to food preservation, these items listed below are all things that I absolutely love, use, and they make my life easier. All right, our first gift is the Presto electric pressure canner. This machine is the absolute best. If you like water bath canning or pressure canning, this is the machine for you. It literally looks like a pressure cooker. All you do is put your jars in there, you follow the instructions that it prompts you to do, and you set it and forget it, and your cans are done. You don't have to worry about weights or anything like that. You just tell it the time, the type of canning that you're doing, and that's it. It is so simple and has made the game a lot easier for me. Next item for me, and this is a big ticket item, is the Harvest Right freeze dryer. I got one about 6 months ago and I am obsessed with it. We make our own dog food with it. We make our own freeze-dried meals with it that we can take hunting and fishing and on various camping trips. We do freeze-dried candy, freeze-dried fruit, freeze-dried herbs, you name it, guarantee we are freeze-drying it. I absolutely love it. So again, it's a very big ticket item, but I absolutely love my Harvest Right freeze dryer. Next is a vacuum sealer. If you have a garden or you hunt, a vacuum sealer is a must-have product, and they're not as expensive as you might think they would be. So we use ours all the time. We process our own meat, and so with that, we use our vacuum sealer to seal that off so that it lasts in the freezer for a long time. We use that for all of our garden produce that's going in the freezer. I could not live without a vacuum sealer. And along with that goes our vacuum sealer bags. Now, when you get a vacuum sealer, it'll come with one bag, like one set of bags, but you're gonna need a lot more most likely. So if you get a vacuum sealer, I would recommend vacuum sealing bags as more of like a stocking stuffer type gift. Next is an electric tomato mill. If you saw my last video, I used it in this and it absolutely changed the game for me. I've always used a hand crank tomato mill to get rid of the skins and seeds on my tomatoes when I'm processing them, and the electric mill literally made my life a million times easier. All you do is just put your sauce through it, it pulls out the seeds and skins, and you have a beautiful end product. So I absolutely love my tomato mill, and if you don't want an electric one, you could definitely do the hand crank one as well. It's gonna be a cheaper option. It requires a bit more muscle, but it works just as well. Next, I have a meat grinder. So if you are a homesteader or love harvesting your own meat, a meat grinder is one of those things that is so important, and it's something that just makes life a million times easier. We use it for processing all of our burger and sausage meat. And one thing I will say when you're looking for a meat grinder is find one with a foot pedal. So all you have to do is turn on the machine and then you run it like a sewing machine with a foot pedal. So when the pedal's down, it's actively moving. The auger is. When the foot pedal's up, the auger is not turning. So I feel like it makes things a lot safer and a lot easier, and you don't have to get your grimy hands all over the control panel on the meat grinder. So that is one thing I would definitely look for, which the one that I have linked has. Next is a water bath canner. You can get these at Walmart. It's just a very large, I would recommend stainless steel, but a very large pot that you can use to put your jars in. If you're new to canning, you're gonna want one of these just because it's gonna be a really large large pot that's going to make your water bath canning process a heck of a lot easier, and these are really, really reasonable when it comes to price. Along those same lines is a pressure canner. You can get a Presto pressure canner for relatively cheap. It's very cost effective, and this is one that you can use on the stove. Now, one thing I do caution you with is if you have an electric stove or the person that you're gifting this to has an electric stove, make sure that you are getting a Presto, because those are light enough to put on an electric stove. There are other brands that are way too heavy, and if you put that on your electric stove or a glass top stove along with your jars, it can break the glass top. So I definitely recommend you doing your research when you're looking into these, but I love the Presto pressure canner. Next is large mixing bowls. This is one of those things that I didn't know I needed them until I needed them. So if I could have gotten them as a gift before I needed them, this would have been wonderful. I use mine mine are just stainless steel, and I use mine out in the garden. I use mine when we're processing meat. I use mine when we're canning things. You name it, I guarantee I have used it for that. I absolutely love mine. So I got a 4-pack, and it comes with various sizes. I think the smallest is like 12 to 18 quarts and the largest is a 30 quart. And I love the size ranges because I can just pull the bowl that I need depending on that size. So I love my stainless steel mixing bowls, and I would highly recommend them. Next is for someone that is just getting into canning or has interest in getting into canning, and that is canning tools. So there are certain tools that you're going to need when you can, one being a wide mouth funnel. You're going to need a can lifter. You're going to need a debubbler and measurer. So there are kits that you can buy that have all of these items in it. And I think it is such a great gift, especially if someone's interested in canning and hasn't done it yet, because odds are they don't just have these items in their kitchen. It's a pretty low cost item. It's one of those things that they will think of you every time they use it, and it is just so practical. And these things last for forever. I think I bought mine in like 2017 or 2018, and I'm still using the same kit that I bought back then. Finally, under the food preservation, I have canning lids. So 4 jars is my favorite canning lid. I just buy them in a 100 pack, and I find that is perfect. I like to buy a 100 pack of the regular mouth and a 100 pack of the wide mouth. That way I never run out of canning lids. I remember back in like 2020 when you couldn't find the dang canning lids, and that was stressful. So I like to make sure I always have way more canning lids. And if you know a canner, that is something that they will absolutely always need, and you can never have too many of. So again, a pretty low ticket item, but one of those things that is just so useful, and I would be so excited if I got them. Finally, under food preservation, I have canning books. So there are 2 different ball canning books that I recommend. Again, they will be linked down below, but I have them right here. So the first one that I got is the complete book of home preservation, and the second one I got is the all new book of canning and preserving. So I would say if you're looking for just fundamentals, this one is perfect. It gives you exactly what you need. It's very basic, but if you want kind of more fancy recipes, a little bit more than just the basics, I love this one. I would say I actually use this book more than I use this one, but between the 2 of them, I feel like I have every canning recipe I could ever need, and I absolutely love them. So again, if you know someone that's just getting into canning or loves canning, these are 2 books that I would highly recommend. Okay, that is it for food preservation. Next, let's jump over to kitchen. Let's do garden. All right, so as for garden gifts, this one, I feel like my list could be about 100 gifts long because I absolutely love gardening. There's always new tools and accessories and items that I want to try, but these are all things that are tried and true, and I absolutely love them. First thing on my list is an aero garden. So if you live somewhere that is cold, this is a hydroponic gardening system, and basically all that you do is you set this little machine up. It comes with pods. You can choose if you want salad mixes, peppers, tomatoes, herbs, you name it. You can buy the pod. You stick the pod in this water. The water keeps moving, and then there's a grow light on top. So it's funny, I actually product tested this at my corporate job back in like 2017, I think it was. So I had a full-blown garden growing on my desk. People would stop by my desk for herbs or for little cherry tomato snacks. I absolutely loved it. But if you live in a cold climate, this is awesome because this is a great way you can get herbs or salad mixes or fresh tomatoes all year round. It's one of those that requires literally no work. You just have to fill up the little water tub like once a week, but it's so simple and I absolutely love it. So again, you can get them for pretty cheap. They're great. I think a lot of people haven't heard of them, but I would highly recommend an aero garden. And along those same lines of just kind of self-contained gardening items is a green stalk. I got my mother-in-law a green stalk last spring, I think it was, and she is obsessed with it. She rants and raves. She has all her neighbors on their green stalks now. Everyone that I know that has a green stalk is absolutely obsessed with it. I'm so excited. I have one coming in for this next growing season, and I know that she loved to do strawberries, lettuces, herbs. She kind of did everything and absolutely loved it. So definitely check out Greenstock if you are interested in those. And I do have a discount code. It is just Wyoming. If you're interested in using that, it's going to be $10 off your purchase of $75 or more. So definitely make sure you're getting that great discount. I'm so excited. I know everyone loves their green stalks. All right, next item is, this is a low ticket item. It's not a big investment, but it is something that everyone that has a garden, I think, needs, and that is a kneeling pad. So it's just a thick piece of foam. I use mine literally every time I'm in the garden, and I love it. You can sit on it, you can kneel on it, we use it when we're trimming our goats' hooves. We use it all over the property. Anytime that you're going to be crawling around, this is just one of those things that is so nice to have, and it helps save your back and your knees. I absolutely love mine. And when it gets muddy and dirty, you just wipe it off or rinse it off in the hose and dry it, and it is ready to go the next day. Next is, this is kind of a home gift if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be, and that is garden seeds. So if you save your own seeds, I would definitely recommend putting together just little baggies of seeds and labeling them so that people are able to try out your seeds that are tried and true and that you love. But if you don't save your own seeds, you can give little seed packets. I know if I got packets of seeds for Christmas or something for the holidays, I would be so dang excited. So one cheap option that I absolutely love, it has a really great germination rate, is MI Gardener. I think it's about $2 per seed bag. The seeds are phenomenal. Everything that I've grown from them has been wonderful. So if you need just a cute little stocking stuffer or just a small ticket item, I definitely would recommend seed packets from MI Gardener. Then along those same lines, a seed organization box. I feel like if you're a gardener, you know it. All of a sudden you have so many darn seed packets that you don't remember what you have. You don't remember what's empty. So I will link it down below, but I use a little photo organizer and it is perfect for seed packets. It also then comes with little books. So if I know I'm going outside to plant carrots, all I have to do is just bring that one plastic book with me. I don't have to worry about them getting wet or anything along those lines. And I have everything that I need for my seeds that day. So I love my seed organization kit. Next is, this could be for someone that does in-ground gardening, above ground gardening, is just getting into gardening, but this is potato bags. These are fun because they have little windows. So all you do is fill them up with soil, put your potatoes in them, water them, treat them like normal, and then you can see your potatoes actually growing. I know here I have a really dense soil. That's just the kind of soil that we have around here. And so these are going to be perfect because you can put whatever kind of soil you want. I love Vermont compost. I would definitely recommend looking into that, but you can put whatever soil you want into these potato bags, grow your own potatoes above ground. You can keep an eye on them, which is really fun for kids. I think this is a great item, and it's something that I think not a lot of people even know exists, so it would be something that's a little bit unique. Next is for a beginner gardener, and that is a gardening tool set. There are certain tools that I love to use in the garden, being a little hand hoe, a hand shovel, a little measuring stick, all of those things. I think shears, I think all of those things are perfect, and they're so good for a gardener that is just getting started, because odds are they don't have those things. I know a lot of us have big shovels and big tools, but you need those hand tools too in the garden. So I think that would be great for someone that's just getting into gardening. Then a gift that I actually got this year that I absolutely love is a pH, light, and moisture tester. So it's literally just 2 probes and then like a little radar thing at the top. You stick this in the ground and it will give you it will measure all of these things in your soil for you. I was struggling because I have weed cloth down, so I couldn't see how moist the soil was. So I love this because I'm able to just stick it in. It will tell me how moist the soil is, so I know if I need to water, if my automatic waterer is doing enough, not enough. It's great. I absolutely love it. And I think it's one of those things that people don't realize they need it until they have it. But once they have it, they can't live without it. Next, I found, this is just a fun little item that I think would be great for like a Secret Santa. And it is a row kit that comes in an egg carton. So I will link it down below. I think it is so stinking cute, but it's literally an egg carton, and you can get all of the things that you need to start seeds, and it comes in that. So if you know someone that's a little nervous about starting seeds or hasn't ever done it before, this would be such a fun little gift to kind of help give them the confidence that they need to get started. It has everything they need, All they have to do is just plant the seeds. It's so simple and so stinking cute. Along with that, I think grow lights would be a phenomenal Christmas gift. If you know someone that is into gardening and wants to start their own seeds, a grow light is critical, especially because our winter light is very minimal. And so it's so important that you are supplementing with a grow light. Along the lines with the grow light is also a heat mat. So when you're starting seeds, you need them to germinate at a specific temperature. So there's mats that you can buy that you put your planted seeds on, and it will help raise that soil temperature. So I think a growing lights and a heat mat would be phenomenal gift ideas. Along the seed starting idea, they have little packets or little bundles that are herb kits, like seed starting kits, and they grow hydroponically in a mason jar as well. So this is really cute. I know all of us homesteaders have mason jars just laying around. I have tons of mason jars. And so being able to grow a little herb garden inside of a mason jar, I think is an adorable idea. So I think, again, that's another awesome stocking stuffer or small ticket item that I think is so adorable, and I had never seen it before. Then another gardening idea is a harvest basket. I know this is one thing I do not have. I think it would be so darn practical. Just your little basket that you put all your tools in and that you bring out with you every day to the garden and then bring back in the house with you. It just has everything that you need, and that way you always have a cute little handled basket to bring in. Those stainless steel mixing pots that I mentioned in our food preservation section, that's what I use out in the garden, but something with a handle I think would be so great to help people carry their harvest up from the garden up into their house. Then my final two garden ideas are mushroom growing kits. I know North Spore has a lot of mushroom growing kits, so you can say exactly what kind of mushroom you want, and they will send you the kit to get them growing. I think this is a really cute idea. I know people that love harvesting or foraging for their own mushrooms, and so if I could give them a little kit so they can grow them at their house, it requires like no room at all. It's super simple. I think this is a really cute idea. And finally, a wind chime. I love the sound of wind chimes, especially when you're just out in the garden, kind of in your own little world. It's just so zen and so beautiful. I think a wind chime is a beautiful idea that I don't think a lot of people think of. All right, next we're gonna jump over to our kitchen section, and these are gonna be all of the items that I've come up with that would be so useful to have in a kitchen that I don't think a lot of people currently have. All right, friends, so in the kitchen category, the first item that I have is cast iron, anything and everything. A good high quality cast iron pan or a grill pan, any of those things that are cast iron is phenomenal. It will last people for years. I think this is one of those things that's overlooked, and it would be such a great gift. Along those lines, also have added a Dutch oven. I could not live without my Dutch oven. I got one probably 5 years ago, and I use it all the time. It's perfect for food preservation, big meals that I'm trying to make, roasts, anything that's going in the oven, baking bread. I feel like you name it, you could do it in a Dutch oven. I absolutely love my Dutch oven. I think mine is the crock pot brand, and I absolutely love it. Next, I have a pasta roller. So if you or your person that you are buying a gift for has a KitchenAid, they are pasta roller attachments that go onto the KitchenAid front. You can see me using them in my pasta rolling video that I can link down below, but this makes pasta making so darn easy and quick. All you have to do is make the dough, then you just roll it through the various levels within the pasta maker or pasta roller. It will cut the pasta for you. It's a dream come true. So a pasta roller, and then along those lines, a pasta drying rack I think would be awesome too. You don't have to have a pasta drying rack. You can just lay it out on a table. That's what I've done in the past. But just having something small where you can hang all of your pasta would be super awesome if you're interested in drying your homemade pasta. All right, next I have a bread machine. If you know someone who is gluten-free or wants to get into making their own bread, a bread machine is a phenomenal gift. So there are some that have the gluten-free setting on it. A lot of them come with recipe books. So if you were to just give someone a bread maker, this makes being a little bit more self-sufficient so darn easy. All you do is just dump all your ingredients in. It will mix it around, knead it, bake it, all of it within this one maker. It's so cool. It's like a little grown-up easy bake oven. I absolutely love my bread maker. Next item is a nice knife. I recently got a Nakano knife, and if you want a discount on that, I think it's the Wyoming Homestead for I think 20 or 30% off discount. But getting people a nice knife is one of those things that is just the gift that keeps on giving. I feel like all you need in your knife drawer is just a few really solid nice knives and a knife sharpener, and you're good to go. So if you know someone who's just getting into cooking or food preservation or has been into it for years, getting someone a new nice knife is a wonderful gift. Next is a apron. There are so many cute aprons. If you're looking for a cute apron, definitely check out World Market. I know they have some really fun, beautiful aprons, but I think an apron is such a fun gift and it's a practical gift. So if someone is coming over or you're going to someone's house and they are cooking the food, getting someone a nice little hostess gift as a cute little apron, I think is such a great idea. And I've never gotten one for gifts, so I think it is very creative as well. Next on the list is a sous vide. These are kind of cool. So what it is that it's like a probe that you put into a water bath, and it keeps the water a certain temperature that you set, and it will cook your meat in this, you vacuum seal your meat, and it'll cook your meat within this water bath basically for however long you want it to do. This is how people get really nice quality ribs, perfectly cooked steaks. So you sous vide it, and then you pull your meat out once it's fully cooked, and you just sear it on both sides to get that nice dark color or that umami flavor. So a sous vide is a really great gift, especially if this is someone who loves cooking but maybe wants to bring in some new techniques or some new ideas. A sous vide would be an awesome idea. Next is a low ticket item, but I love this item. It is a meat masher. So if you make tacos or anything using ground meat that you are trying to break up, the meat masher is phenomenal. I feel like it speaks for itself. Everyone loves a meat masher. Then I also use every single day in the kitchen my instant thermometer. This is one that you just open it up, poke it in the food. It gives you the temperature of the food perfectly, really quickly. You're not waiting. You're not releasing any of that heat from your oven. I use it when I'm grilling. I use it for baking. I use it for casseroles. You name it. I use this thermometer for everything. I absolutely love it. I even use it when I'm making someone like a hot tea or a hot cocoa versus having to like stick your finger in it to check the temperature. You just stick the thermometer in it to see if it's warm enough to give to people. I love my instant read thermometer. Next is two items that are kind of along the same lines with each other. One is a garlic press. This saves so much time if you like cooking or gardening. Using fresh garlic, a garlic press will make your life a million times easier. And then along those lines, I have a potato ricer. If you know someone that likes to make gnocchi or mashed potatoes, anything like that, a potato ricer is a really, really nice gift. And I think it's something that's so practical, but people just don't traditionally buy themselves. So I love my potato ricer. Next, I have new pots and pans. I really like to use the green pan, I think is the is the brand of pans that I use, but any of the really nice, clean, also stainless steel is a good option. Any kind of non-toxic pan I think is an awesome idea. Everyone loves new pots and pans. If you spend time in the kitchen, it's like the best gift, I think. And along those lines, new baking sheets. I know my baking sheets are like, I think my mom got them for her wedding gift back in the day. So my baking sheets have been well loved. It's one of those things you can always use. And I think just a high quality, thick baking sheet is a really great gift. Next item I have is the complete Make Ahead cookbook. You can see I have sticky notes all over it. I love this. So if you like to make freezer meals or you like to plan for parties and make your food ahead of time, this gives you tips and tricks and recipes that you can make ahead that make your life a million times easier. So it will tell you what is freezable, how many days early you can make things. I think if you like, planning ahead, meal prepping, anything along those lines, this cookbook is the absolute best. And then finally, Snapware Tupperware. The glass version. I have only glass Tupperware. I love it because I can just take the lid off, reheat it, serve it like that. It looks beautiful. If I'm going to someone's house, I can just bring it in my glass Tupperware and my food looks beautiful. I think glass Tupperware is a great, great gift. And it's healthy for you. You're not getting into the plastic in your food. I love my Snapware glass Tupperware. All right, we are cruising right along. Next, we are jumping into the homemade gift idea section. So the first item that I have on my list is vanilla. Vanilla is something that is so darn easy to make. I will link the video down below where I make vanilla, and you don't have to do it months in advance. So if you're just now starting your vanilla, that is totally fine. It will taste better the longer you wait. But check out my video up above or down below, and you can see a great way to make vanilla really, really quick. All you then do is just put it in some cute little jars and give people vanilla. And who doesn't love vanilla? Vanilla is expensive to buy, so gifting people vanilla is, I think one of those things that's just really cute. Everyone loves it, and it can be used for years to come, and they can just keep reusing those vanilla beans that you're giving them. The next gift idea is homemade spice or rub recipes. So I actually got this last year. I thought it was such a cute idea. This is the last one I have, and it is a pre-made spice mix. So I got this from my parents. They put it in these little Ziploc bags, and then they made their kind of famous spice mixes. So if you make a good Italian mix, or a good Lowry's Copycat, or a ranch dressing mix, or this is a rib rub and bean seasoning. And then all they did was just mix up all the ingredients, put it in this bag, and then they just printed off these little recipes. So if you're gonna use it for meat, or if you're gonna use it for beans, they printed off the recipe. And I think this is such a cute idea. They did I'm trying to remember. They did one for artichoke dip. They did rib rub. They did bean seasoning. I don't know. They gave everyone like 4 or 5 of these, and they were really cute. I think it's an awesome homemade gift idea, and I love seasonings. Next item is canned food. So if you like to preserve your own food, I think sharing some of those bounties is a great idea. I love to share my homemade jams, tomato sauces, pickled vegetables. My pickled jalapenos are a huge hit, pickles in general, applesauce, you name it. I think people really appreciate how much time and energy goes into these things, and that you're sharing your bounty from your garden and all that hard work with someone else. I think is one of the most heartfelt gifts I could ever get. I absolutely love when people share their other recipes with each other or with me. We actually had some friends come stay with us for a little while, and they brought us their homemade canned items as their little hostess gift, and I thought that was the cutest idea. I never would have thought to do that, but I absolutely loved it. And then after they left, we were enjoying their corn salsa, their relish, all of it. It was such a great idea. I loved that gift idea, so I'm stealing it from them and putting it towards the holidays. Next is candles. These are relatively easy to make. I know there's a ton of recipes online you can look up, but a homemade candle I think is a really cute idea. I'm actually stealing this from a friend too. We recently got these candles. They are candles in a seashell. So we have some family that live on the beach, and they just took some shells from their beach at their house and filled it up with candles and made cute little candles. It's important that you find one that will kind of sit flat. So this one sits perfectly. It's just, I think it's such a cute idea. You could do this with all sorts of things that you can find in nature. And then they also found one that doesn't sit flat, and they just made a little wood base for it that holds the candle upright. So super cute idea. I love this. Who doesn't like candles? All right, next idea is baking mixes. So we made these in videos together as well, and I've remade these since, but this is my banana bread recipe. I put all the dry ingredients in here, and then at the top, I write the instructions as to how to make this. So everything that you're gonna need to add, how long you cook it, what temperature you cook it at, and what it is all in here as well. I think it's a really cute idea, especially for like a neighbor or someone like that. You can use gluten-free flour. You can really make it fit your needs. I love this idea. Then along those lines, baked goods, baked treats, cookies, all of that I think is a great gift. I honestly prefer doing it like this than getting like the full-blown cookie, because I think everyone's getting baked goods, treats during the holiday season. So if I can just give this to someone to put on their pantry shelf, and the next time they're feeling a sweet treat, they can whip it together really quickly. I prefer it this way, but feel free to make your own, get them ready, and send them off to your friends and family. That's another cute idea. All right, another homemade gift idea is sourdough starter. So if you currently have your own sourdough going, sharing some of your discard, I think is a cute idea. And then similar to the fermentation is sharing a kombucha SCOBY and some of your finished kombucha. I got that as a gift one time, and I thought it was awesome because not only could I enjoy their kombucha, but then I could start using my SCOBY and experimenting with making my own kombucha. So another really creative gift that really I thought meant so much, because it's one of those where I get to keep their kombucha going or keep their sourdough starter going. I love that idea. Next is a recipe book. So I keep all of my recipes just in a binder. And so I know a lot of people share recipe books around the holidays, and I think that is so cute. If you have, you know, family secret recipes that you could share with one another, or share some of your kind of famous, most enjoyed recipes with your family and friends. I think that's so fun, and it's one of those things that you hold on to for forever. We actually have a recipe book from, I think, my great-grandma's it is, and we keep her recipes going, we keep using them, and I think recipes is one of those ways that we can keep honoring people throughout our own lives, and I love recipe books. Also, I feel like a lot of the food they were making back then was just so darn good. It was simple, it was to the point. I love the recipes that have like absolutely no instructions, so it makes it kind of fun. You get to figure it out for yourself. I love recipe books. All right, another idea is if you raise your own meat, sharing some of that meat. So chicken, pork, sharing eggs, sharing meat that you've hunted for. Obviously you can't sell the meat that you've hunted for, but you can share it, you can gift it. So I think that's a really great idea. I know that once our pigs come back from the butcher, being able to share some of that meat is a great idea and a great gift, because people love meat. It's expensive. It's one of those things that they'll always use, always need. So I think sharing your meat is just a great way of sharing those bounties. Another homemade idea, if you have a freeze dryer, is making freeze-dried meals. If you have a hunter or a hiker, or you just want to make sure that your family is kind of fully prepped, sharing freeze-dried meals that you make. So I have a video on making full freeze-dried meals that I will link down below and up here to share with you as well. I think that's an awesome idea. And those meals last for like 25 years. So just making sure that our families are all in a good place, have everything they need just in case anything happens. Why not? Then my last item that I have as a homemade gift idea is sharing flower bulbs. If you have tulips or any of those plants that create the bulbs and that you don't want anymore, or you have too many of, digging some of those up, putting them in just a box and sharing those bulbs is awesome. I think I had a box that I got from, I want to say my grandpa, from some of his flowers from his yard. He shared his bulbs with me, and I just think that is so sweet. It's a way for me to kind of take something of his and something from his house and put it here in Wyoming at my house. I love the idea. All right, that is it for our homemade gifts. Next, we're going to jump over to ideas for someone that you might know that likes hunting. These are just basic gear ideas or ideas of gear that I have that I absolutely love. So the first item that is on my hunting list that I feel like everyone needs a couple of is a headlamp. They make the headlamps that are just go on a strap that you can put around your head. And they also make a hat that has a built-in headlamp, which is kind of fun because in the winter, you're obviously going to be wearing a hat. So a camo hat with a headlamp built in, I think is a fun idea. Especially for waterfowl hunters, they go out really early, they need to set their decoys, so a hat built in is perfect. But if you're a person that you're buying for does big game hunting, definitely look for a headlamp that has a white light and also a red light, because as they're going in the morning, they'll be using that red light because it is less detectable. Next is gloves. You can never have too many kind of like light functional gloves. Now, you want the ones that have the grippy palm, and preferably ones that can use, you can use your phone. So you can text with, or, you know, push the buttons on your phone. I think these are great. The grip is really nice because if you're holding things, carrying things, having that grip is really great to hold on to. And having gloves that aren't super bulky but can be kind of a base layer to a bigger set of gloves, I absolutely love. I know when we're out hunting and it's really cold, I wear my big gloves and then I have a base layer glove underneath that when I take my big glove off, I then just have a glove that has a lot of dexterity. I can move my fingers, I can feel things. I love just like a nice, thin, high quality glove. Next, we actually just got this as a gift for Sam's birthday, and I thought it was genius. It is a heavy duty first aid kit. Now this first aid kit has everything shrink wrapped, so it's really tight, but it has splints, it has scissors, it has sting removers, it has things, I don't even know what they are, but you name it, it's in there. And I feel like if what you need is not within this first aid kit, you better be getting out and getting help real quick. So I think a heavy duty first aid kit is so critical, even if you're not a hunter. Just having that in your house, having it in your car or your RV or whatever, your boat, just having a really, really good first aid kit that's more than just like Band-Aids and gauze, I think is really critical. Next is a bit of a luxury item. I will admit I am a little bit of a princess when it comes to camping. I like to be warm and I like to be comfortable. So I got this sleeping pad. Sam actually got it for me as a gift a couple years ago, and It is the best sleeping pad I have ever had. So the bottom half fills with air. The top half is memory foam. I know, you can judge me, but it is so nice. And the funny part is every time Sam goes hunting without me, he always asks if he can take my sleeping pad with him. So sleeping pads not only help you stay comfortable, but they help you stay warm. So having a good sleeping pad below your sleeping bag is like the key for staying warm on cold nights when you're camping. So I think this sleeping bag in particular is the absolute best. I absolutely love it, but any good sleeping bag is wonderful. Then along those lines is a good sleeping bag. Now, this is kind of two parts. First part is a sleeping bag liner. So this is great. It's an extra bit of warmth. It also helps keep your sleeping bag clean. So if you're dirty, hiking, whatever, you can pull on your sleeping liner and then you get into your sleeping bag and it helps keep everything clean, but it also keeps you warmer. And then a nice sleeping bag. I like flannel sleeping bags. Now, if you're gonna be backpacking, don't bring your flannel sleeping bag. That's not gonna work. But if you are like car camping or something along those lines, I love my flannel sleeping bag. Again, I know it's a bit of a luxury, but I absolutely love my flannel sleeping bag. Then along with that is a cot. So they make high cots, they make low cots, anything that can just get you off the ground and get you off of like the rocks and the bugs and all of that is phenomenal. I know, another high maintenance item, but I don't know anyone that doesn't love going back to their tent at night and sleeping on a cot versus sleeping on the floor. So a lot of cots, what they have is they have a liner that you can stick your sleeping pad into, and you put your sleeping bag on top, and you will have the best night's sleep if you have your cot, your bag, and your pad. You don't need much more. Next is a power bank. They make solar power banks. They make just regular charging power banks. I think it's so important to send the people that you know that hunt with power banks. You can never have too much because this is how they're going to communicate with you. I also really like Garmin watches. So this watch here that I wear, it has a mode that says track me, I think is what it is. And you turn it on and it will literally track you. And then when you need to go back and find where you started, it will give you directions back. It just has an arrow on the screen and you can see the path and it will point you back to where you started. So this is great for hiking, camping, hunting, you name it. At the beginning of the day, I just turn it on where our camp is and then I have it follow me all day. And then I can either take that same route back or I can take a direct path back. So I absolutely love this. They also make solar Garmins now, which wow, that's incredible. So it will stay charged a lot longer and while you're outside, the sun will help charge it. So I think a solar Garmin is so stinking cool. And then along the same lines with this technology is I think it's Garmin InReach. So this is a satellite device where people can communicate back and forth with you via satellite. I think this is really important if you're into hunting or hiking or airplanes or boats or whatever, but having a way to communicate with the people that you love, tell them you're okay, or tell them if something's gone wrong, I think is so, so important. So I think that's one of those gifts that's like completely priceless. Next is the Meat Eater Cookbook. So this is a cookbook that is using purely wild game, all sorts of types of game, but it helps encourage you to make your own wild game recipes. Again, if you like hunting or homesteading or cooking at home, cooking from scratch, this is an awesome cookbook that just helps you find new ways to put your wild game to good use. Then I have a Stanley thermos. I'm not talking, the 40-ounce handle Stanley. I'm talking a literal coffee thermos. This is great, especially if you're in waterfowl hunting or you're going to be driving a lot. We love to fill ours up with hot chocolate or coffee and then just have that throughout the day to keep you warm. We love our Stanley thermos. Then I have heavy-duty game bags. I know some people like to use disposable game bags, some like reusable game bags. It's whatever you prefer, but you always have to have game bags if you're big game hunting to keep your meat clean and sanitary. So game bags, especially if you like the disposable kind, you can never have too many game bags. Then we also like the Outdoor Edge knives. So these are knives that come in a case that clips to your belt loop, and then you can use the knife when it goes dull rather than needing to sharpen it, which you can do out there, but if you're backpacking, that's just extra weight. You can actually just replace the blades. The spare blades sit in that same pack as the knife does, so it's really great for always making sure you have a sharp knife and always making sure you have the appropriate tools to get your game meat out of wherever you are. We love our outdoor edge. They make all different types of knives. They make all different sizes. They're wonderful because you can always just make sure that you're set. It's light, it's practical, they work wonderful. We love that outdoor edge knife. And then the very last item I have is Alps Clear dry bags. So these are dry bags, and then we like the clear ones so you can actually see what's in your bag. But this is great because you can put it inside your backpack and it keeps all of your goods dry. You can also put it inside your tent. You could leave it out in the snow. It works great for holding all of your food in like a scent-free bag. We love these clear dry bags. They work so great and they're just so nice for keeping everything dry, keeping the scents down, whatever you need. We love them. All right, you guys, that is it. That is over 70 gift items that I have put together for the 2023 holidays. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have other ideas, please make sure you share them down in the comments so that we can all see them and we can bounce different ideas off of one another. I appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your day to hang out with me. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe and like today's video, and I will catch you all in the next one. Thanks again. Bye, friend.